back to the Glycogen Cycling channel. So today was the Horrible 100. We actually did it this morning, the day I'm posting this video. We rode the 100 miles with just over 5,000 feet of climbing, which is surprising for Florida. But, you know, we basically did a route that was just hitting all the climbs in the area. It took place in Clermont, Florida, which is just west of Orlando. So we drove up the night prior and got up to, you know, do some climbing and riding. So the plan was to start with a group. So we wanted to start and basically do the whole day with like a pretty large group. And the plan was leave at 7:30. But you'll notice in the top left corner of the screen, the temperature says 48. And before all my northerner friends say, that's not that cold, that's pretty warm. It's all about perspective here. So if you're living in 20 degrees and then you go to 48, yeah, you're gonna think that's warm. But when you're used to 85, going down to 48 in a day, it's pretty cold. So the reason I'm saying this is because we went out of the gate like bats out of hell and just trying to get warmed up, because, you know, if you're just standing around going slow or whatever, you're not going to get warmed up real quick. So we're going really hard, and we kind of just like the group never like caught up with us, or they just like didn't know who we were or whatever. And we end up just having us three. So Mr. Watson, who's right in front of me, and Cat 5 Pro, who's pulling right now. And at this point, I'm talking to Mr. Watson. You can see him shrugging there. I'm like, hey, you know we don't have a group with us, right? And I kind of said that because I'm like, we can't hold this pace all day. We're 5 miles in, and I'm already averaging like 310 watts. And he just shrugs and he's like, guess it's gonna be a long day. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna sit in now. So basically what happened is we get to the first hill of the day, and you're gonna see this in a few moments here. And Mr. Watson just like kind of blows everything up. But before we get to that, so what I want to talk about this event for a little bit. So this event is very similar for all my Bloomington, Indiana folks. Very similar to the Hilly 100. So it's not a mass start race. There's like a start time of like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and you can basically leave whenever. So it's not timed. It's kind of just like a fun event. And basically there's 3 different rides. There's like a 100-mile ride, a 70, and then like a 30. So the whole day you're going to see us passing people, and that's because they either started before us or they're doing one of the shorter routes, and we just catch them later in the day. So we had to like bob and weave between people, and it was kind of hard to keep a group together. So that's kind of why we like dropped the group basically. And the fact that we're, you know, going, I think we averaged about 26 the first 10 miles or something, 26, 27. So we weren't going slow. But here we go, the first climb of the day, well, the first big climb. And I think this is the second or third largest climb of the day. The first is Sugarloaf, which is the largest climb in Florida. But you're going to see that later on because there was some fireworks going at that point. So make sure you stick around until Sugarloaf, because that was a really fun part of the day. So anyways, we're going super hard up this climb. You can see, 600 watts plus. And you're gonna see in a few moments, one of these guys like nearly takes me out. I'm passing on the left, and he just actually it wasn't even that guy. This guy right here. Whoop! Nearly took out my bars. So that almost ended my day super early, but we keep going, keep pushing on, and we're just getting to the crest of this hill, and I'm like, all right, time to chill a little bit. And Justin, or Mr. Watson, I should say. Also, by the way, give him a follow on Instagram. Make some cool posts of his crits he does, and he's always making cool gram posts. So give him a follow on Instagram. But he's not stopping. He's not stopping for anyone, and he actually rode the entire day solo pretty much, because after this point, he was gone basically. I was looking for Cat 5 Pro, but I just couldn't find him. So I'm like, all right, I need to try to catch up and basically bomb this little descent right here. And I just have my eye on that red wind vest. I'm like, I am the man I need to catch. He's not slowing down, so I need to basically go super deep at this point. And I'm pretty sure the first 30 minutes of this ride, I was about 290, 300 average. So for starting out a 100-mile day, it wasn't, an easy start, basically. But that was pretty good. It was good training because, in a race, you're going to start out really hot. You're going to have like a lull in the middle, and then you're going to have a really hard point at the end, which is basically what happened today. So really good training day. Happy I did it. But at this point, I see him right there, and I should have just closed the gap. But these people kind of get in the way, and I was smoked already. So basically after this little climb up to the left here, he was just gone. So basically just chilled and waited for Cat 5 Pro. I knew he was close behind at least, and him and I linked up and started to ride until the group caught us. But one thing we didn't really know is where the group was. Like, did we like completely drop them where they're like 20 minutes behind, and if we keep riding at like tempo, they're not going to catch us for the whole day? Like, we didn't know that. So we're still riding like we want to catch Mr. Watson kind of. So we were like sprinting up these hills and, super tucking down. So once we got about 25 miles in, I started to just like kind of lay down on the hills. Like I didn't want to go super deep, and you can see like this guy's walking up here, or woman maybe. But one thing about these punchy climbs is when you sprint up them and you're going 600, 700 watts, consecutively, that really takes a toll on your legs. So that's kind of why I just wanted to chill a little bit up the climbs. Like, still go decently hard, 500 watts, but stay in the saddle, keep your cadence up, and don't try to, don't go into like zone 7 basically. And because otherwise, like we're an hour into the ride basically. So
my heart rate's going like
the beginning. You guys were like,
dude, that was all Justin. I'm like, we're not holding this the whole time. There's 4 of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. I mean, we chased for a while, and then I was like, why?
So we didn't want to completely kill ourselves. But about mile 35 or so, the group catches us. There's like 10 guys at that point, and then we stopped at a rest area, filled up with some water at about mile 40, and I think this is like mile 65, 70. And we have like a decent group. We have like 50 guys, maybe 60 guys. There's still a bunch behind me. So we had just like a decent solid group, like just going tempo at the front, probably holding about 26 or so, 26, 27 on the flats. Obviously uphill and downhill, you're going to go either slower up or faster. But yeah, it was overall, I'm actually happy that Mr. Watson dropped me because going with this group was actually a lot of fun, and I think it made it a little more race-like, as you're going to see in a couple moments when we go up Sugarloaf. So basically the group stayed together most of the day. But once we got to mile 75 or so, we hit Sugarloaf Climb, which is Florida's largest climb. Made popular by Phil Guyman's Worst Retirement Ever video. He actually took the KOM on this. And after doing the climb, his his time up that is ridiculous. I think his time is 1:18, and we were going hard, and I finished in 2 minutes. So like to take 30 or 42 seconds off my time, that's nuts. And he did it solo too. So granted, I was 75 miles in and he just like showed up to this climb, but here we go. So this is the fun part of this video, and this is where like all went down. So this is the bottom of Sugarloaf. I think this climb is about 200 feet vertical, with an average gradient of 8%. So it was actually pretty steep. There are some parts that are obviously greater than 8%. Some parts that are a little bit lower, like right here at the bottom. But I averaged 452 watts up this climb for 2 minutes. I think I could have gone a little bit harder, but as you'll see, there's a couple points where I had to like slow down a bit. Right here, I kind of got boxed in, so I had to wait and then go around this guy. So my power like I wasn't able to hold like a consistent power. You'll see I spiked up to about 700 right there. But these two guys tried to catch in front of me. So it's just a chase for me to try to catch them. And those two guys in front of me were actually my two breakaway companions, as you're going to see in a moment as we get to the top of this. But yeah, we're going 9 miles per hour. Guys are walking up here. It was actually a good climb. I'm surprised that you thought Florida was flat, but it's, around here it's pretty hilly actually. So that guy cracked, and I didn't look behind me like one time when I was going up here. I was just like going as hard as I can. No one's passing me, so I'm just gonna go. But this is what everyone was saying. They were like, save yourself for this. So for the 10 miles prior to this, I was just sitting in the back, wasn't doing any work at the front, except a couple times. And I passed that guy, and I'm like, let's go, basically. Actually, no. That was in a few moments. We're still going uphill, but we kind of chilled out a little bit. At this point, I'm like trying to shift my gear, but it wasn't like going into my big ring. And then I finally got it. So that's why I was like kind of off the power for a second. And then I passed this guy, and I'm like, let's go. And this guy to the right of me was super strong climber. He was doing a lot of work in the breakaway. And at this point, the clock is ticking on the KOM. I actually got a KOM at the end of this, as you'll see in a moment. And then this guy like tries to basically walks out. I'm like, hey, don't walk out in front of me. And then, so at this point, the race is on. There's a bunch of guys behind us, and we are basically establishing this move. So right now it's just me and that other guy in the white jersey. There's actually 2 other guys that are right behind us. And then Cat 5 Pro apparently was right behind them, but I didn't see him. So he was kind of salty after, saying like, why didn't you wait for me? I was calling you out. But this descent, I just completely bombed. I was going basically as hard as I could go. I'm spinning out my gear, and I think I was super tucking at this point. Actually, no, I'm still putting power down. So now I'm super tucking. 47. I think that was my max speed of the ride. But that really put the distance in, people. Because after you go up that climb, it's kind of hard to put down power again, especially right away. You kind of want to recover a little bit. But these turns were actually pretty good. Pavement was perfect. And overall, that was like, these roads around here were so good. Like, not a lot of cars. Pavement was really good for the most part. And yeah. So as that guy passed me, I was like, hey, we got 2 guys behind us, as in like, let's chill for a second because we don't want to ride the next 25 miles, just us 2. And I don't know if he took that like, let's go harder. But anyways, 2 guys behind us catch us, and as we cross this white line, I get a KOM, which was actually a pretty good one. Actually, there's like 8,000 people, and then we're coming into the finish, and that guy in the black jersey got dropped on one of the climbs, so it's just us 3 at this point. And we end up holding off the group, so that was pretty exciting. We saw the group at one point. There was probably 10 or 15 of them together, but hearing from Cat 5 Pro, there was only like 4 of them working, so it was basically 4 of them versus 4 of us. So we just were a little bit stronger in the end, and we're able to hold them off. So as we take this last left turn, that was the end of the Horrible 100 2019. So it was about 98 miles that we did. I think we finished in about 4 hours, 20 minutes with 5,000 feet of climbing. Overall, like, I know I titled this this video A Truly Horrible Day, but honestly, that's just me being sarcastic, basically. The only thing horrible about it was the weather was freezing cold, but other than that, it was a great day on the bike. I was seeing stars the last 15 miles.
That was awesome. Dude, your climbing is ridiculous.
Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you watch this whole video, make sure you leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I know this is a long video, and I like to know who watched the whole way through. So if you can comment down below, definitely let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.